They were ambushed. Bleeding and lifeless bodies were all around. Some were men, others were women, and too many of them were children. Screams filled the air. They were the desperate cries of those who only just hours before held the strong hope of finally living in peace, but were now either doomed to die here in this field or be forced into exile. To await the coming warfare, Celeste ran. She could hear every last, sick thought of those who were attacking them. They came here to live in peace, but their enemy followed them. Would this war ever be over? Would the fighting and bloodshed ever cease? She took herself out of visibility, but not without shedding any of her own blood first. When she found her baby, she grabbed and held him close. Now both of them couldn't be seen by anyone. Celeste stood there in the silence of night, looking onto the peaceful, cream-colored house that stood before her. The air was warm and perfectly still. The only sounds she could hear were the night songs of the crickets and her own rapid heartbeat. She looked down into her arms and smiled. She was holding her young, sleeping infant, her most precious beloved. There was no one more important to her in this moment than him. "I'm sorry to have awakened you," said the mysterious woman. "I'm in need of your help." The man started to say something in reply, but was interrupted by his wife, who quickly beckoned the woman inside. "Please come in," she said while guiding the mother and child into their living room. Celeste quietly sat down in an old, cushioned chair as the young couple sat down across from her on a nearby couch. "Is there somebody we can call for you, Mom?" the husband kindly asked. Celeste didn't reply right away. She just smiled softly and gazed down at her son once more. She slowly looked back up at the tired, but sincere, husband and wife sitting before her. What she said next would completely shock them and forever change their world. "I need you to raise my son." Max didn't know what happened exactly. All he remembered was pushing that car, and then feeling something give. It was as if the car lost all its gravity. In that brief moment before the shock and surprise sank in, Max couldn't recall the car feeling remotely heavy at all. It's been on his mind ever since, and he still has yet to find any perfectly logical explanation. As he was tightening a stubborn joint on the pipe, he put a little more force into the wrench he was using. That was when it contorted in half. Perplexed, Max stared at the wrench in his hand. He examined it to see if maybe it was defective or old. But no, it was a perfectly good, steel metal pipe wrench. "Did I do that?" the confused fireman thought to himself. The pipe was still leaking, and now his tool was useless. Max looked at the pipe for a moment, and then down at his bare hands. Acting on a hunch, Max grabbed the joint and twisted until the leak stopped. Taken aback once again, he looked down at his hand. It was like twisting a cap back onto a soda bottle. Why was it that easy? Late into the night a call came in about an old, abandoned factory that had caught on fire. Upon arrival, the firefighters immediately went into the building in pairs. While in the burning building, the firefighters were unaware that the fire had burned through the sprinkler systems in the top compartments of the building, which were now filling up with water and increasingly putting weight on the ceiling over Max and the others. Max heard the loud creaking and looked up. From that point on, everything happened in slow motion. As he saw the ceiling above hurling down towards him, an immediate fear that he was about to die set in. He ducked his head and put his hands up in an initial reaction, as if to brace himself for the coming impact. He then lifted his head, and for a moment, he could have sworn that his hands had vanished since he could see right through them. That was when the ceiling hit him with full force. But it immediately shattered into little pieces all around him upon impact. Max slowly put his hands down and looked around him. He remembered feeling the ceiling literally hitting him, but he didn't recall feeling the full brunt of the force that should have knocked him down and severely injure, or even kill, him. It was as if he were the stronger of the two, and the ceiling shattered on crashing against him instead the ground. "Max, you okay? We gotta get out of here. The building's coming down," Max's partner called out. Before running out of the building, Max took one last glance at the pile of rubble around him. How did he survive this? "What am I?" Max didn't say anything. He only pulled up a chair beside the desk and sat down. Jackson knew something wasn't right. "Max, Dad, where did I come from?" he asked straight away. Jackson hesitated, then slowly responded with, "Well, your biological mother came to us after she, Dad, I already know that story." Max interrupted. "Is there anything else that you know? Or do you know of somebody that might know more about me?" Jackson searched his son's dark blue eyes. They were tired, wearied, and burdened. "Son, is everything okay?" he asked softly. Max didn't say anything at first. He let the anxieties, thoughts, and emotions that had been plaguing him lately build up inside. He finally broke down and let it all out. "I lifted a car by myself," he said hurriedly. "I bent a steel wrench in half with my bare hands. I tore open a car door. I ran a 4-mile trail in less than 5 minutes yesterday. He took a deep breath before continuing, and last night, at the call, part of the ceiling came down on top of me, and I came out without a scratch. Dad, I don't know what's happening to me. Jackson's stomach started to sink. He couldn't be shocked at what Max had told him, and yet he couldn't help but feel overwhelmed by the fact that this was all really happening now. Just like she said it would. Max read Jackson's expression and didn't see what he expected to. He didn't see shock, or surprise, or even disgust. Instead, Max saw something in his dad's face that told him his father had been expecting all of this. Dad, there's something you haven't told me. Isn't there? He asked quietly. Jackson knew the day had finally come, the day that he had been anticipating for 20 years. He took a deep breath and said, Max, there's no easy way to say this. He hesitated a moment before continuing, you're not from here. What do you mean? A different state. Another country. You're from a whole different world. I understand this is a lot to ask of both of you. Allow me to explain. My name is Celeste and we are from another world called Timori. We are here because a civil war is destroying our world, and we only wish to quietly live in peace among humans. Celeste continued, unfortunately, some of our enemies followed us here, and we were ambushed. Many of us died. And many of us that survived did not come out unscathed. I am dying from my injuries. And if the enemy finds out about my son, they will kill him. I believe that my son's best hope for survival is for him to be raised as a human, by a human family. I know this is difficult to believe. Your civilization has not yet discovered that life exists on other worlds, like we have. But I can offer you proof, Celeste said, looking directly at Jackson, as if she had just read his thoughts. This is my son's Timorian birth certificate. I also know that you both have been longing for a child of your own for many years now. That you are waiting for the right child to find you, she said to the now speechless couple. Celeste explained. Though Timorians and humans look very similar, there is a vast difference between our two races. Every Timorian is born with two special abilities that have been inherited from their parents. I have what your people would call telepathy. Celeste looked at them both and said, I know that you are the parents who are meant to raise my son. I am here to tell you that this is the child you have been waiting for so long to find you. Anyways, Celeste continued explaining to us about these special abilities. She told us about how you inherited the ability to be invulnerable from your father, and you would either have her telepathy or her invisibility. Max briefly looked down at his hands, as he recalled how they seemingly vanished for a moment last night right before the ceiling came down. He didn't say anything though. Jackson continued the story. She also said that you all have strength and speed, which would be called superhuman in our world. And that all these abilities take about 20 years to fully mature and show themselves, which is why you've never noticed any of this before. Now, there was one more thing. Dad, I've heard enough, Max said hoarsely. He didn't believe what he was hearing. Even though everything had been filling in the missing pieces so far, Max still couldn't accept it. Maybe he just didn't want to believe it was all true. Are you really trying to tell me that I'm not even human? Max laughed. Come on, Dad. Have you really spent the last 20 years believing that I'm some super-powered being from another planet? Son, I know this a lot to take in, and yes, I understand it's a little hard to believe. Dad, there's no such thing as life on other planets. Max exclaimed.